blast, this thing pulls hard. All right, what's up, Wheelers? This is Tony. I just got back from Easter Jeep Safari 2021, and it was like a 1,000-mile trip back. Rolled back. I'm exhausted, but I'm super excited about going through some of this footage. I mean, I have hours and hours and hours of footage from this trip. The one that I'm working on now is the Bronco, and the reason is you'll see in this video, it's a little bit different than the ride along we did at King of Hammers. It's a real nice casual conversation that we had with Brad, just talking about off-roading in general. Four-wheel drivings. We got into a little bit about Raptors and big wheels and things like that. So it was really special to get to talk about that. So this ride-along video is going to be a little bit different. We're going to get some insight on Brad's opinion of the Bronco versus the Wrangler versus Raptor and some of the things that people should consider when off-roading. And I felt like it was more than just an education in the Bronco. It was an education in off-roading in general and an opinion from a champion. So I love that. We're going to go straight into the ride-along and the conversation. You'll see what's happening. All right, so we're taking our Bronco test ride. Got lucky. I'm in a First Edition. It's totally cool. This interior that everybody's freaking out about, and as well as me, the Dallas Cowboy interior, it's not as Dallas Cowboy as it looks in the pictures. It's very subtle. It's very sharp looking, and I found out that the black interior that I picked is now late availability, so I'm a little freaked out by that. So I'm gonna stop talking and start videoing.
So what I guess you didn't have a chance to feel out of King of Hammers is some highway type driving. And I've owned a Wrangler in the past. I had a Rubicon actually, and I'm an off-road guy, I'm a Jeep guy, I'm a Bronco guy, and it got old. I was tired of driving that vehicle and we sold it. Got a Raptor.
Yeah.
So, but this, I think it's definitely something that I can at least live with day to day.
Yes, I love it.
We did as part of the engineering team, we did a trip to the Rubicon, and then we drove, and I've done a lot of off-road stuff, but that was like my one chance to see the highway behavior of it, and it was awesome. And it's remarkable to me, whether it's a Raptor or a Bronco, that you can go, tear it up off-road and go through hard rocks and everything else, and then get on the highway and drive home.
Yeah.
In the garage.
Yes. That's the thing about the Raptors. I still have a Gen 1. It's got 210,000 miles on it.
So do I.
I love that truck, But
So
this is so comfortable.
This, I think, it doesn't quite have the shocks of a Gen 1 Raptor, but it's flirting with the level of performance of a Gen 1 Raptor in high-speed desert, but it also has all the capability of a Wrangler in the rocks. So the targets were set to be better than Wrangler at everything 5 miles an hour and faster, and really what we saw on the Rubicon trip and out here in Moab is that it's better all around.
Really?
Yeah. There were 2 points that I have to be fair and tell everybody. In Golden Crack, the Jeep clearly articulated better and it was more stable going through there. And then there was one rock on Cadillac Hill where the slab vertical side of the Jeep Wrangler, it was more protected from that rock, and we got rock scratches in the doors of the Broncos, but not a Jeep. So
I have a feeling I know what rock that is too.
Yeah,
it's very off camber up against it.
Yep, exactly. On the passenger side.
Yep, it's nasty rock.
So but the way the whole Bronco is designed, I mean, it's absolutely authentic off-road, and we designed the undercarriage to be really smooth, and there's a 70-pound gas tank shield down there that is, we keep calling it the most highly engineered part on the vehicle. But those guys, the fuel tank guys and the shielding guys really got behind this program, and it's not only is it really robust, but it's really smooth. So what I've learned in King of the Hammers racing and everything is as long as you can slide across something, you can keep going. It's when you get hung up and stabbed, when it's tucked in a cross member. So like on our King of the Hammers vehicle, we run UHMW, which is like a skid plate or a cutting board type material. So we just slide over all the rocks. Yeah. And that's kind of, this nice solid gas tank skid. That's what you're doing. You're just sliding on the rocks.
Nice. noticed this one's got a little bit of wind noise, and the one that we rode in Hammers had 0.
Yep, and I keep having to apologize about the wind noise in this, and it's coming from up here in the seam, and what everybody has to remember is these are prototype units, and it's no secret that there's been some delays in the hard tops. And why? Because to my outside understanding, because the supplier has some issues with the molds or something. Something's not quite right, and it's to fix the exact issue or similar issues to what we're experiencing now. So.
The only reason I bring it up is I doted over how silent the one I was in was at King of Hammers, and I know the viewers will be able to hear that, and they're going to call me out on it. So otherwise, I'd have kept my mouth shut, you know. But the comfort in this thing, the space up front, it's incredible.
I think the biggest improvement, I just feel like again, I own Jeeps, I own Broncos, I own Fords, but this won't wear you out to the same degree that a Jeep will driving to the trail, whether it's pavement or the access road. And when you get there, it's actually fun to drive at a spirited rate rather than just clunky.
Yeah. So I've got a 2020 JLU that's on 40s, Curry F9s, double throwdown, you know.
So you're no stranger to it.
And I drove it out here. So
did you really?
I drove it from, so I picked it up in San Antonio, or I'm sorry, in New Braunfels from Exodus 4x4, drove it straight to Baja. We did 7,000 miles before I got home in it. And that's after it was converted to a 392. I mean, the thing's nasty.
So you took it down Baja on 40s?
On 40s, yeah. 392, awesome. Brand new, 1 day old build. I mean, they put it on the ground and we left.
That is awesome.
It's insane. And we had almost 0 problems with it. One PSC bolt, and that was on me. It was a great time, but I drove it all the way out there, all the way down, all the way back. Then I drove it all the way to King and Hammers and back, and then I drove it out here. So,
right on.
So I want to be able to drive my vehicles and not trailer them. And so this, though, is so much more comfortable. I know I'll mess that up to some extent, to be fair. You know, when I get it, it'll probably end up on 37s and then maybe ultimately 40s. I don't know.
Well, so what I'd say, give it a chance. Give it a chance on 35s. Feel what the Bronco is. I mean, there's so much work involved in tuning the suspension, in getting the calibration right for 35s or 33s. And like me, I've built stuff up and I've ruined it, sacrificed vehicles, however you want to put it.
Yep.
But for me, I'm pretty excited about leaving mine stock. So I don't blame you for wanting to change it. I just go on a trip and experience it first, because I guess my worry is that the level of engineering that has gone into this vehicle and to make it great for so I have to preface this. So hold on a minute. Okay. It's forever. It's felt to me that vehicle builders have made something perfect for on-road use, and finally what we have with Ford is they're taking technology and adapting it for off-road use, and that's what gets me so excited about the Bronco, quite honestly. So I'm a little concerned that the aftermarket won't have that same level of technology to apply to the Bronco. That's why I'd at least give it a chance, because it's a pretty amazing vehicle, and I know people are going to tear them up and put 40s on them, solid axles, and
I wouldn't do that.
Well, to me,
but I know what you're saying.
And I'm a solid axle guy, but to me, it's like putting a solid axle on a Raptor.
Yes.
Why would you do that?
Well, and to that point, my Raptor's still stock, and I love it. So then,
and you can't break it. Well, no. I mean, okay, you can break it, but you're not. You drive it responsibly. You know you can go all the way down Baja and come back, which is what impresses me about your trip on 40s. That's awesome.
So our intention, me and another buddy, the guy that owns Exodus, are going to get stock Sasquatch models, and we're going to take them to Baja before we touch them, before we void the warranty, and see how we like them and see how they perform. And it may be just like my Raptor. To that point, it's still on 35s and still stock, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah, it's underwritten with the reliability of built Ford Tough.
Right, because the way my JL is set up right now, it's race and replace. You know,
Right.
You take it down there, use it, come back, and you fix what you tore up. And I've been fortunate so far that I haven't broke anything. But yeah, the ride of this is awesome.
Well, I can tell you, as far as, you know, taking it down to Baja and getting to some of those remote places that I absolutely love as much as you, is, you know, we've done a tremendous amount of off-road validation and off-road development to make sure that the Bronco is robust enough for that.
Yeah.
Which, among other tests, entails 700 miles of King of the Hammers course out in Johnson Valley. We're out there going through Cougar Buttes, and we're getting up into some mountains that I kind of like to keep secret, so
Yeah.
Ultra 4 doesn't use them for race course. But,
Right.
you know, that's where Bronco's born and bred, and to me, it's really important that it's authentic, and to be involved with the project, it was important to me to really give it a solid validation, and they kind of, I got to be at a point where they looked to me to develop that standard, and I tried to move the needle as much as we could. So I'm
Nice.
confident that all of us off-road enthusiasts are going to be pretty pleased with the Bronco.
That is good to know. You got a little skin in the game then, huh?
I do, but I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I have a order for a First Edition placed, and I can't wait to get it. And like I say, I'm leaving that one stock. But you know, I've also, I'm sure a lot of people have seen the 4600 Bronco that's come out.
Yes.
So that first one will actually be raced by my brother and I. And, we've gone out and validated that and seen what it can do. And we have some more testing to do before we're going to race it. But that should really, you know, it's exciting because it acts as a basis for a different type of modification. You know, it's pretty exotic. It's got portals on
I
it.
saw those portals, man.
Yeah, they're awesome. And like we were talking about, underbelly skid plates, so that has full shielding underneath to make everything smooth. Same size tires as a Sasquatch, 35-inch tires. It's a two-door, and I can tell you that it's going to be faster in the desert than my Legends car out there.
Yeah. Wow. All right, so we're rolling again.
Okay, so we're out here at the start of the sand wash here, so I went ahead and put it in Baja mode. We're at 4 high. I'm going to take the stay bar out because I love the way it drives. Without that, rear locker's in, and we're ready to go.
Right on. God bless, this thing pulls hard.
So Moab to me is a little bit different than King of the Hammers. I don't think it's necessarily all about going fast out here.
Right, rolling.
Okay, so what we've done now is we've engaged one pedal, and when I'm out racing King of the Hammers or any of us professional drivers are racing down in Baja, what you're doing is overlapping brake and throttle. It keeps the chassis locked down. It gives you better control of the vehicle. So what one pedal does is simulate left foot braking. So I'm going to take my left foot completely off the brake, and what I have to do is start adding throttle. Well, I got to put it in gear first.
It happens.
I can start adding throttle. I'm about 5%, 10%, 15% throttle, 17%. Okay, maybe almost 20% before the vehicle starts to move. And then I lift off the throttle and it comes to an abrupt stop. So
Nice.
what it's doing is driving through the brakes, and it gives you precise control on the rocks. So we'll go back to our tire view here.
Oh, so
and
cool.
What you can see is these aren't very big rocks, but I can very precisely control where the tire goes.
Yes.
Versus if I take one pedal off and I just right foot brake, there's always a dwell time between getting from the throttle to the brake.
Yep.
So what this does is it just eliminates that dwell time. It simulates left foot braking. It can also help, oftentimes you'll hit a unexpected rock on your right front and the tire comes up and over, and as you come over you smash up the rocker panel or the rock rail there. This will help catch you as you fall off that rock.
Nice. This is Amazing.
So here's a ledge. Slow down.
Wow.
All right, so off. So actually, now that we have one pedal armed, the next thing we can do is try trail control, which we're just driving along and you hit the set button just like you would cruise control. And I'm getting a fault there for some reason. Okay, so now I just set it at 5 miles an hour.
Oh man, it's just like the Raptor.
Yep, and you can increase speed to 10. Now the Raptor, maybe it will. I'm less familiar with it, but this will go down to 1 mile an hour. So I can break it down to 1, and we're set at 1 mile an hour. This isn't new technology, but what is new is the execution of it. I've been in other competing vehicles, and to have it run this slow, it's very jerky, and there's brakes firing, and they've done a great job getting it tuned here. So anyway, more high-speed fun and excitement.
So that was a GOAT mode. Which mode was it again?
So the GOAT modes are the different drive modes. We're still in rock crawl.
Okay.
So what I'll do, that was the button in the middle of the GOAT mode dial to turn on one pedal and trail control. So what we're going to do now, we'll put it back in Baja mode,
which is not available on the base model, which I've noticed.
Yes, Baja mode is not available on base. What specific packages, I'm not going to be an expert on, but Badlands, Wild Track, kind of the stuff that I've been involved with as far as the heavy duty off-road stuff, will have Baja mode. So I'm going to turn the stay bar off because it gives better ride on some of these roads. And that seamlessly is engaging above 20 miles an hour, and then it re-disengages below 20 miles an hour.
Nice.
And I'm also going to turn on trail turn assist. I have this cool turn up here.
Oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding me.
And what's nice about this camera is so often in off-roading, whether it's desert racing, rock racing, or whatever, you can't see anything over the hood. And this is like having a big window there. So I can see there's no big rocks in the way, there's no motorcycles, there's no kids playing in the road. And to me, off-road, confidence is what you need to either not be alarmed, to drive faster in the case of racing.
That is incredible. That turn, I mean, it's
a nice seamless operation, isn't it?
We played around with it a little bit at King of Hammers out in the sand, but we didn't have an application for it like right there.
So here I'm going to re-engage the stay bar, and we'll feel the kind of the head toss or lateral movement across the rocks here. I can see how it's a little more harsh. Now if I disengage that, I think you'll kind of feel it's floating over these rocks a little bit better. There's less lateral movement in the chassis. And I think that's what us rock guys don't like about IFS. It doesn't flex, it's too stiff. Well, you've never had IFS with a selectable stay bar before.
True. Jesus Christ, this thing is quick. Wow.
It's definitely fun in the sand here. It's kind of the one spot in Moab you can tear it up a little bit and have some fun.
Yep. So as you see the
TV coming along
see
here.
the Can-Ams are doing it too.
Now what everybody's heard about is trail turn assist, which is a pretty awesome feature. We hit it back there in the corner. In sand, it's pretty dramatic, the engagement. So you can literally turn on a dime. And this, to me, it's in rock crawling. We do a front burn. You disengage the rear drive. And you can drag the front right around. Well, that's pretty much what we're doing here with breaking that inside tire.
It's just like a front dig.
Yeah, exactly. And so, well, it's a novelty in the sand. It's fun, right?
Yeah.
But what I do when I'm running rocks in this thing, I put it in 4-low, put front locker in only, which you can't do in Jeep, and then engage the trail turn assist. So it makes it really maneuverable. It's the same way we run our rock racer in King of the Hammers. Let the front pull you everywhere, and then we have a cutting brake that we're using on the rear axle.
Nice.
And then we only engage the locker in the rear axle when we need it. So you've heard of bypass shocks.
Yep.
Of course. They give you freedom in the middle of travel, but the extremities, it's very progressive. So if you hit a big jump, it's going to catch the vehicle and control it, so you don't have uncontrolled bounce in the whole thing. This doesn't have bypass shocks, but it has Bilstein shocks that have a center piston, and then they have an additional piston on the top and the bottom that engage in cups at the extremities of travel. So when we get to those extremities, the fluid has to flow through 2 piston heads rather than just one. And when we go across the whips here, you'll hear them engage. It's kind of like a clunk, but what that clunk does, it's those cups engaging and it's controlling the vehicle, whereas without them, we'd be bouncing around off the bump stops.
Right, okay.
So you can kind of hear them engage there.
Going to Brad A little more air.
Yeah, we'll just be cautious of all these UTVs running around out here. And you can see, like, doing all that on the side hill, stability control isn't stepping on me.
No, it isn't.
It's wanting more, and that's really the beauty of drive modes. So we'll go up here and we can hop out and get a picture real quick.
Okay, cool. Dig it in.
This honestly to me was a gimmick the first time I heard about it. The idea that you can disconnect the sway bar under load, but it makes all the difference in the world. And we have to find a spot enough that we can really articulate this. But it used to be that you're coming up to a rock and you have to try to get the stay bar disconnected before you get there in hopes of making it. So here we are, we've lost traction, and for us it's as simple as hitting the bar and then you can keep going.
See, that's I struggle with that with my sway bar and that Rubicon all the time.
Yeah, you can't get it disengaged.
Yeah, and it's flashing all the time, trying to disengage, trying to re-engage, because I forget to do it,
So the first time I was able to experience that, it just put a big smile on my face. I thought, you know what, this is awesome.
Yeah, it's totally radical. That's incredible.
These are very nimble vehicles. It's nice because it's narrower than a Raptor, and you can hit a lot of this technical stuff at a good pace. And it's fun. It's fun to drive at a spirited pace. All right, so we are back out of the sand wash on the county road. And we'll just kind of cruise along. I'm going to put it back in sand mode. Baja mode's a little too sporty for Moab County Road. John, number 9, Brad is clear.
All right, guys. Well, that's a wrap on the video. As you can see, we're just gonna leave everything else on the cutting room floor right there. Probably one of the coolest interviews and videos and ride-alongs I've done today. It's definitely going to go down in the bucket list of awesome times that I've had off-roading. So thanks for watching, and stick around. We'll have a video coming up soon on the 392.